Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Booth. Real conversations with Exhibition Contractors, the IFES podcast where we look beyond the physical stand and explore the people, ideas and challenges shaping the future of our industry. I'm Ali, and once again, I'm going to be joined by my co-host and good friend, Han Leenhouts. Hi, Han.
Hey, Lee. Welcome to your own show, to the IFES show. Great to be here.
It's crazy. So in our first episode, we looked at the future talent in the exhibition industry. Today, we're going to be turning our attention to another subject that will have a huge impact on the future of our businesses, the future of sales. Because let's face it, the exhibition industry is incredibly competitive. Most exhibit builders can produce a great design, they can build a quality stand, they can manage logistics and deliver a great project. So if everybody is saying they offer great design, great service and competitive pricing, how do you genuinely set yourself apart? And perhaps the bigger question is, are we actually selling the wrong thing? If we continue to sell square meters, materials and stands, we shouldn't be surprised when clients compare us on price. But what happens when we move towards the conversation beyond the stand and start talking about the client's objectives, their challenges, and the value that we can create for their business? So today, Han and I are going to explore how the sales process in our industry needs to evolve from selling stands to solving problems, from suppliers to trusted advisors, and from competing on price to competing on value. Han, tell me, are exhibitors still selling the wrong thing?
We also have a German audience. I would say "Jein," that's yes and no, because they're selling. So when they're selling and they get jobs, they're not selling the wrong thing. If you really look at it, is it always the smartest thing they do? Are they selling the square meter? And this is, to be honest, I was listening to you to do your introduction. I was like, gosh, what year is it? 2026? I mean, I'm sort of becoming a Jurassic in the market, but this was a discussion ages ago. And maybe in 10 years, we will have the same discussion. Right or wrong is maybe too sharp, but there is a smarter way. And if you look at companies, what are they buying? Some end clients just ask for a stand and a storage and so many chairs. Yeah. I mean, are we doing the wrong thing, or is our audience, I mean, the people we work for, open to these new ideas, etc., etc.? So it's a bit more complicated than bluntly saying right or wrong, to be honest. Yeah. It's a long answer too, short. But that's why we have a podcast with you all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned the word Jurassic. Me and you both, we are kind of the dinosaurs in the industry. So what's actually changed? Well, I've been in the business now for 18 years. I came outside of the industry. You're from the industry because you come from an exhibit building or exhibit building background. Yeah. So over the past few years, what do you think's actually changed? Obviously, the size of the stand, the quality of the materials, everything like that has changed. But in terms of the processes and in terms of the sales side of it, what's actually changed?
You want the real answer?
Yes, please.
It's again an intriguing question, and our audience should ask themselves what has really changed. And I will come to the answer. It brings me back to a good friend of mine from the industry, from the Netherlands, and I know him from the time I was working for Laurhoven when we did modular exhibits. And he still has it in the back of his mind. He's gone there for 20 years, but he's an industrial designer, and he was looking at the market. And then he said, well, I'm going to, for example, Best of Events. I'm going to Euroshop this year. And he said, where should I go? I was there. I said, Han, where should I go? What's new? I said, well, just go on the show. And I was, and then he was, to be honest, he was a little bit disappointed. I said, but yeah, of course, that thing's different. And we see all the screens and bended screens and stuff like that. But if you close your eyes and look through the little narrow piece of your eyes, what's really changed? I mean, we still have stands and they're square, they're round. We have screens, we have smoke.
Yeah.
But what has really changed? And what about the process? Well, we have RFQs. We had RFQs. I think slowly people are moving a little bit more into real ROI. And ROI is a word I heard years ago. Return on investment, reward on ideas. But I think people are really making a thing out of it. Now, the other thing is, of course, and well, we're at the end of the summer here, and I don't know where you were. I was far away, but I followed the news, the fires, the stuff. I mean, if you want it or not, sustainability, that is something which is going to be a factor for our industry, and that will influence the sales process. But people will have a second thought about going to trade shows. Is this, and other people don't care. I mean, that people are still flying, but we know that flying is not a good, and there are many ways to have that discussion. So I think there is a change. What I do see, I get more, and we're sort of in the same business, also doing these trainings. I get more exhibit houses, both from the Netherlands where I'm based and internationally. They say, well, we want to extend our line. We want to be more than just the builder. So and that's more than it was. So people say, well, we're not, and that's a good thing. We're not only building the stand, we want to have that impact. And they do realize that it's not only the booth, it is the thing you do before, your whole campaign, etc., etc. Of course, your follow-up. We have to keep saying that because it's still there. I do still hundreds or 200 companies a year, and when I touch follow-up, and I'm like, how can this be? But it's still, good that you thank you for the tip. I'm like, okay, and why is this a tip? Why are you not doing that? Who's your advisor? What did the stand builder say? Did he say anything about it, or does he say, well, that's not my kind of? What about the organizer? But then, of course, people say, you only want to sell training. But it's true, which is totally true. That's what I make a living on. So, again, a long answer. There is a change. Sustainability is there. People want more ROI. So you can sell better if you have a better story. If you just say, well, okay, thank you for that, but what's going to be the impact? What impact do you want to have? And then you touch upon how good are the companies we work for. Well, it's normal industry. We have very good companies where it's progressed very well, and some companies you just say, oh my God, how can it be that they spent so much money? And just say, oh interesting that you talk about follow-up or etc. etc. So
absolutely. And I think one of the biggest changes for me that I've seen since the pandemic anyway, our customers have become much more aware, because they want different things, and they've got younger as well, all right? So
that's true.
So we've got a different type of audience who expect different things, yet as exhibit builders, I've seen quite a few still working the process like it was, 1990s or early 2000s. Do you agree?
Well, I do agree. And if we look within our IFES community, and I get the point that there's more worry about tariffs and this company's now saying you have to pay this for the freight. And that is money. There's a lot of energy and attention going that direction. And I hardly see anyone saying, but how do we work with this changed mindset of the customer? We don't get that question because it's, a sales conversation is still still a sales conversation. And you see the experiential houses, they get it. And then, of course, we have this whole AI thing. It might do something for the processes. It might do something for the networking, but the show still looks the same, to be honest. The process leading to upward, the process of spreading ideas, mood boards. Mood boards only cost a fraction of a second. The big problem for exhibit houses might be that at some moment a customer might say, "Oh, you're asking me this for the concept, but how much AI is in the concept?" I once did a session for EDPA, and I sort of 3 years ago, I could still do that. Now I would be totally off character here, but I warned them. I said, "Well, there will be that discussion, because people know that AI is around the corner, so they know that selling hours for knowledge is not so feasible anymore." To be honest.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the sales process then, in the world of exhibit builders. So if we talk through what the standard sales process looks like. So we've got a pharmaceutical company or whichever business sector you're in, they send out an RFP. Okay, the account manager takes a look at the RFP. Maybe they have some questions. They get back to the customer, and then they respond to the RFP. And then, fingers crossed, let's hope for the best. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're forgetting one thing. These days, what I see a lot, and especially I do a lot of work in the pharmaceutical industry, that sometimes there's also, and I don't want to badmouth about them, but it's making things complicated.
Yeah.
An advertising agency or whatever they call themselves, agency. For the customer, they think, "Oh my God, these people know." But they're going to be very harsh. Very often, they do not know. They know how it looks on paper, but the reality, and that's the thing, we're very old-fashioned. It's still a concrete building and stuff we bring in, and whether it's sustainable or reusable, but it's still stuff we bring in. We build the stuff. We have, and there are certain rules and regulations which do not change, which do not have anything to do with Gen Z. I mean, fire regulations are fire regulations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let me just share one story here from the UK. I once was in London for a customer, and the previous years they built they had the stand building done by a real stand builder, but this year they said, "Oh no, now we have an agency." Okay, well, so I arrived at the scene because I did my training prior, and I arrived at the scene, and you see the difference because you see all these millennials, and they look millennial-like with these things and looking around and very with the posh coffees. And I said to one lady, and I saw the head office of the company is in the Netherlands. But I can mention the clients, no worries, Booking.com, and they went to the European travel show, and they had stroopwafels. I mean, that's a Dutch thing, stroopwafels, stroopwafels. So I got that message. That's interesting. And they had a photo booth and they had stuff. So I introduced me to the lady. And they're also very like, "Who's this?" So, "And who are you?" I said, "Well, I did the training." "Okay, well, I didn't hear anything about it." So no, that was because they want to do everything. And so she was already a little bit pissed off that she wasn't involved. And then I said, and what kind of activities? Why do you want to know? And that was interesting. She asked me, "Why do I want to know?" Well, I'm here for the activation, making the stand booth work. And then you ask me the question, "Why do you want to know?" There was a crash between the Jurassic and the millennial. Like the millennial thinks, "Oh, what is this old man?" And let's not say that too loud. Yeah, you're as old as you think you are. And then there was a photo booth. So I sat in the photo booth, testing it, pressing on the buttons. And lucky, unlucky, it didn't work. So, and we were 2 hours prior to opening. So I said, "Hello, lady, you again?" "Me again." I said, "It's not working." A little bit irritated. And then I saw the guy coming up on the stroopwafel guy. And he was from the Netherlands. Hey, in Dutch language, "Oh, what are you going to do?" "Stroopwafels." I said, "Fantastic." I said, "And how are you going to make it?" "Well, I have some open fire here. And because you have this liquid sugar, and you have the waffles, and they have to be done on fire. And you cannot do it electrically, but he had open fire. Interesting. We were in London. So I said, "Okay, and what about the regulations?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, open fire in a public place." I said, "Well, I've just been hired by the agencies." "Oh, well, let me go to the lady of the agency." So I went for the third time to the lady of the agency. I said, "Hello, you again?" I said, "Yeah, what about the fire thing?" "What are you talking about?" "Lee, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
"Open fire at a trade show. Thank you very much." I said, no. And she was really pissed off. I said, well, I'm just going to warn you. Within a certain time, a gentleman will come on the booth and he has a fire thing here.
Warden, yeah.
And he will probably ask for papers. And then if you don't show the papers, the guy has to go. We'll see. We'll see about that. 5 minutes later, the guy came. 10 minutes later, the Stroopwafel guy went away. So I advised the client. I said, it's totally okay to go with an agency, but check, do the reality check. Yeah. It is a business. It is an art, a craft. We're an industry, and we need to work with them. But there are certain things which are, where we are the specialists.
Absolutely, yeah. So is the question that are there too many chefs in the kitchen, to coin the phrase?
There are. And also on the client side, and we cannot influence that. Well, and that was ages ago in my time at Stand Builder. Sometimes you made they had 3 RFQs and 3 presentations, and then the boss took them home.
Yeah.
And then at dinner, and the wife said, "Hey, how was your day?" "Well, we had this booth." "Oh, show me." And he put the 3 designs, and she said, "I like that one." with no argumentation. And they came back, and then let's say, "Yeah, well, we'll take this one." Yeah. And you were like, "Why didn't we get the job? Was it not?" Yeah. And then of course the people in the company, they didn't know. Yeah, the boss says so. That's so many times.
Yeah. So in terms of the stakeholders then, so we've got this process, okay? Well, obviously relationships are very, very important, but obviously if you're working with a very high level company like a pharmaceutical, or you're working with a big IT company, they will actually have, they will be regulated to actually have RFPs. So how do you make yourself stand out? If you're doing an RFP, how do you make yourself stand out? Obviously, because you're going to have a big fat document that you're going to have to send, but are there things that the exhibit house or the exhibit company can actually do to influence that RFP?
Yeah, well, that's the main thing people have, and it's not only in this industry; it's in the building industry, it's stuff like that. That's not an easy one. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you cannot do anything. Sometimes they just want to have it's so regulated, and you have this max 100 words. Then you at least have to be creative within those 100 words. What is interesting, a good friend of mine does a lot of RFQs in the Netherlands, and he has Claude, one of the AIs, and it's very specialized in these. What do you write in these boxes? Because that's where you make the difference. Yes, price is important, but it's Gartner, for example, they do a lot of research on sales and sales process and training. They have these lists, and McKinsey have them too, in Boston Consulting Group. Price is never the main reason why people buy. Salespeople say so, but it is never. But it's of course easy to say that it's the price, but it's never the price.
No.
But there, you should find a way where you can add that value, where you can say, well, okay, this is what we do. And people have to be open for it. This is actually the wrong question. Yeah. Sometimes clients ask the wrong question. Sometimes the RFQ is not okay.
Yeah.
Now, there are always moments when you can have that interaction built in. Those are the moments where you have to shine. And maybe there's an end presentation. Those are the moments. So you have to look at the whole process and just point out where are the moments that I can do at least some influence. Yeah. Because you can also shoot yourself in the foot because you know the guy who's responsible, and you try to go directly to him. He might be pissed off, like, okay, what are you doing? This is the process. But it's a very delicate thing. But there are always moments when you can shine. Those might be tiny moments. Yeah. You can also take the decision. When it's an RFQ, I'm not in. But some people are so big, they have to. But the good thing is that with AI these days, it doesn't take so much time anymore, because these documents, well, once you've done one, you've done the rest. But then the fun thing is they're all doing it, so the level goes up. And like in school or in university, people have these checkers, AI checkers. I'm guessing that people who send out RFQs also have a checker, like which one has been written by a person, And maybe this is the thing you have to do. So there's not an easy answer to that question. And sometimes you're just, this is the process.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And there is one thing important also addressing our IFES members. Not all members are only aiming for these high level projects. I mean, the mid-sized project, the mid-sized companies, they do not have that. They just also have a little process, but not there. You have those moments of interaction. Those are the moments where you make the difference. What kind of questions do you ask people? How intriguing dare you to be? Are you willing to walk away?
Yeah.
Do you have the guts to say, well, this is so limited amount of information. I cannot be your partner here. But then you have the sales guy said, no, if I have an offer, I have an offer. I always say in my trainings, an offer is nothing.
Yeah.
An offer is totally nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not happy when you come inside, I can make an offer. And I say, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
What kind of questions did you, what is the real need? What did you find out?
Yeah.
Where is the guy mentally?
Mm-hmm.
Did he already buy you? Or are you being used as a second party? Those are things you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And where do you think, I mean, let's take the RFP situation away for a second.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the sales process face to face. So where do you think a lot of exhibit builders and, I think one of the things I've heard from IFES members is that it's a big challenge that they have is really trying to understand who's in charge of the decision-making process, because as you mentioned before, within a company, there is the exhibit manager who might be looking at the pitches, and then you have the sales director, you have the marketing director, you have the CEO. So it's how do you take control, and how do you get to the person who's actually making the decision?
Well, first you have to make the decision that you really want to know that.
Yeah.
That you say, well, I want to know the process. It's necessary for me. And that decision has to be taken once you start the process. There is a moment that it starts, that you are in contact. And that is the moment in that first conversation when there's no stress, you say, well, how does it go within this? We're going in this process and maybe but how does it work? And then you explain, for us, it's important to know who are the stakeholders because, and you have to show that you know, the CEO has different needs than the procurement officer, than the technical officer, a marketing, CMO, whatever.
Yeah.
They're all different personas.
Yeah.
And and it's natural that you want to know. Now, if they react in a way like, oh, well, just make this, just make that. That is a sign where you could say, okay, this is how this company works.
Yeah.
What are the chances that I'm going to get the order? They're not that big. You could also say, well, I'm going to give my energy to another company. Let me share you with it. When I was in my time within Laarhoven, we made a little matrix, and we called it, "Does the client deserve a design?"
Right. Okay.
We turned it around.
Yeah.
So we had this first process, 2 meetings, and then there was the moment, are we going to make a design? And then we said, no, we're going to assess the process and the client. So we, as a potential supplier, we're going to assess. And then we just said, okay, well, interesting. And we had a few lines and we weighed them. We said, okay, how many are there in the process? We don't know. Ooh, that is 0 points. If they didn't share.
-5, yeah. -5.
Or -5. And when they said 4, that's -3. When they said 1 or 2, okay, then they get some points. So then we said, are they paying for the design? That was also, it was a big thing, and it is a big thing. People say, oh, no, I'm not going to pay for the design. Are you crazy? I said, but you're giving away everything. This is what you're on. It's kind of crazy, but okay. And based on the reaction, we never got it because in the market it wasn't done. But the reaction, if the reaction was, I do understand it, but it's something else. Like, oh, what are you doing? When they say, oh, what are you doing? 0.5 points. When they say, oh, we understand, 1 point.
Yeah.
Then we had all kinds of criteria. And then we started adding the numbers. And then we said, no, they didn't have enough points.
Yeah.
And then we called up the customer and said, we're not going to step in. Why not? Well, we're not in the business of making offers. That's not our objective.
Yeah.
We don't want to make offers. We
Yeah.
want to make a relationship and create future business for you. And the chances are not that big. Now, then you had two reactions. People were angry, hang up the phone, say, "Oh, who are you? Arrogant." Totally okay.
Yeah.
And the other people said, "What happened?" Well, or do they give a budget? Yes or no? And then we said, "Well, this is what we do." We explained the process, and no one can argue that because you're a legit company. So
Yeah.
the fact that
Yeah.
you are thoughtful with your resources is totally okay. And you said, "Well, that's not what we're going to do." And then sometimes it, "Well, no, I do have a budget." Okay. Yeah, and to be honest, it's like this. Or the DMU, the decision-making unit, is like this and that. So then they opened up.
Yeah.
You know, when that happened, we got the order because you have a different conversation on a different level.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Is educating your clients on your process and actually having a clear client acquisition process and a client onboarding process as well, right?
Yeah, but it is important that those people who have contacts, and that might be the project manager, the designer, the director, depending on how big the company is or how many layers they have. Some have those complicated terms, and he's the business development, whatever.
Yeah.
And the client on the other side says, "Okay, who am I talking to?" Yeah. But the way they try to get out the question, the information, that is so important. A client, when they're interviewed about a potential project, they should think, "Gosh, that's interesting information. God, I didn't think about that." Then you're already showing capacity. If you say, "Well, but what's going to happen if you're..." I say to customers, when you register for an event, the next thing is plan your follow-up.
Yeah.
They look at me like, "Yeah, but sometimes it's a year in advance." I say, "Yeah, that's when you have to plan it. Because then the agendas are empty." These are very simple tips. I can say it as a trainer, but the stand builder can say it also as an advisor.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're advisors for future business. That's not how they look at it, like the stand builders. No, they are, but their tool is the stand, but they are enablers of future business.
Absolutely.
Of transformation of information, of ideas. So there's a change of role. And why do they do line extension? Yeah, because there are some people say, "Well, we do have the great coffee. We do have the great, you are in personnel." I mean, that can make or break a show. If you have your own people, you can train them, you can don't train them. But if you have some extras, well, the extras are always, most of the time, the extras do the real work. They're the best. Well, that's totally okay. Costs a little bit more. But hey, in the end, it pays itself back in no time.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think that's the key, isn't it, really, is to really, the exhibit builders should be looking to position themselves as a key partner to help the exhibitor go from planning before the show to the execution on site to the follow-up process. And then when they actually finish the show, 3 to 4 months after, they should be in a position to say, "Well, this is the support that we gave you. This is the business that you've actually got.
Yeah.
Have we got your business for the next 12 months?
Yeah. And also rephrase what you deliver. If you're a company that is on time all the time, sounds normal, but when you can give them the guarantee 5 hours before the show, "We are ready."
Yeah.
And it may sound strange.
Yeah.
But if you are ready 5 hours or 2 hours, really, if you can guarantee that, you know what the customer does. They have ease of mind.
Yeah.
We all know the situation. And I know it because I do a lot of on-site training. And I enter the building, and then the people could drop in 2 hours before the show opens. And then, of course, with my trained eye, I see some ladders, I see some guys.
Yeah.
And excuse my French, they don't give anything about you because they need to finish the project.
Yeah.
And then I think, what is the stand builders thinking? I mean, this is going to help me start up the show. Yeah, but we're ready on.
Carry on.
That's it. But we were ready. Well, ready is, when is ready? What is
Yeah.
the time that is ready? Maybe the day before now, but and then sometimes you have the disadvantage that the neighbors are not ready, so it's a total mess. Well, then you order a guy with a vacuum cleaner an hour before. That's totally okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is ready. Then the ease of mind is focus on the business. When you have little demos,
Yeah.
the only thing the people think is my demo working? Is my demo working? Yeah, because that's their first concern. Then when the demo is working, they can look ahead. That's normal. So we have to know what are the real concerns and the small and the bigger concerns of those people working with the booth. That's something else like, we have to build it. There is more to that. When you do your job well, people have ease of mind and they can focus on doing the business, on doing the follow-up.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
if you explain that up front, this is the way we work, you can take these people on a journey and say, okay, how nice is it that you picture yourself 2 hours before the show, you have your first, we order the barista early, you have your espresso, and you look around and you think, I'm ready. And you look around, all those people are still working. What a nice feeling. This is what we sell. This
Absolutely.
This is what we sell.
That's a
And
great
don't
point.
explain whatever you have to do for it. People are not interested.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a great point that you make, because we do, as exhibit builders, they do a great job in helping tell the exhibitor story, but they always struggle to tell their own story, right? Because this is where I think in the sales process, where exhibit builders can actually have a unique edge in that they can actually take the customer on a journey. Okay, and they can actually communicate that up front, and they say, this is the journey that we're going to go on together. Okay, this is what we do. This is what we need from you. Okay, and together, if we collaborate, these are the outcomes that we're going to deliver. Okay,
but there's always a but. You have the people within the booth builders, etc., and the exhibit houses who talk to the customer, and you have also the guys internally who have to realize the project. They have a different mindset. They just see, and I'm going to be very blunt here, they see work coming in too late, artwork, whatever. So they're also in a stress mode. So they do not have, sometimes not have the ability, or haven't been brought in a position to picture themselves into that situation, that we're working for the customer. It's not the lazy sales guy who's just outside having cocktails. He is. And I always said, when I was responsible, I had project managers, and I always said to them, when they were complaining to me, the salespeople say, here's my salary, here's my car. Can I have 500,000 a month turnover, please? Oh, what do you mean? Listen, no, hey. That chunk of work which is coming towards you, that's, someone has to say yes to that chunk of work. And have to pay for it. You have to make people realize. We always did role plays where we, very small ones, but it was so funny. We had guys from production. We had a graphic production in-house. And it was, the customer's always late. The customer's always late. Of course. Now, some of the houses say, hey, this is our advice. When you come late, we can do it. So everybody goes there because people say, hey, this is what I want. And then we switched roles. So we had those guys from production. They could be the customer. And then we would be them. Like that, and then they had to come to us. Sorry, I'm mistaken. The guys from production were the salespeople, and I played the customer. And I said to them, "Hey, guy, I need this." And I was smooth talking to them. Can you do this on time? Because I need it, and I have this campaign. And then the guy from the production, playing the salesman, said, okay, we're gonna do it. Then we switched roles. So then I switched the role. I wasn't the customer anymore. I was this guy. So I played him, and he was the salespeople. And I said, well, bring me the order. He said, the guy needs to be fast. And then I started repeating all their arguments. And then they realized, this is how it goes. So if you have, this is something which people can do internally. Understand each other's position. This has to do with time management and, urgent. What is urgent? Because the table is full with a lot of bricks, and all the bricks are jobs. And when one brick comes on, you say, well, this is more important. I shove it on. One brick falls off. Who's going to call that customer like, oh, you were on the planning, but something happened.
Yeah, no, that's a great piece of advice, is really to get a sense of how your customer thinks, okay, and to actually have a perspective on that, because I think that's what we never, even from an exhibitor point of view, they never really think about the attendee, right? Because it's all from their perspective. So
But it's
that's
all
a great
perspective.
piece of advice for exhibit builders, to really get them to think like their customer, in terms of really looking at, what kind of deadlines they have, what other, because for most businesses, exhibitions is not a full-time job, right? Because you have a sales director or a marketing director or even the HR manager looking after the exhibit. So, and the thing is, they don't know what they don't know. Okay, so they may have real false expectations when they come to the exhibit house. So I think really knowing your customer, that's a great piece of advice. Now, you also touched upon difficult conversations, okay? And I think that's where, again, a lot of exhibit builders struggle, because I see it a lot of the time where they want to say yes to everything, okay, but they don't need to. How would you advise our friends out there to say no? Okay, because saying no seems to be the hardest thing for some exhibitors to do.
It's the hardest thing and it's the smartest thing.
Yeah.
Take away the fear, because they think when I say no, I lose everything. But saying no forces the other party to act. Yeah. And when you do it, when you explain it well, I can't say no, but then, for example, you get a rush job and you can say, well, I can put it in, but then I have to disappoint other customers and I'm not want to do that.
Yeah.
Then the customer can still be pissed off, but then, he could also be that customer who was on time and he wants to be taken care of.
Yeah.
It's a sign of quality, but you have to have the guts to do that.
Yeah.
And
I think you need to have the confidence, because if you know your business, you believe in your business, then you can say no. I mean, I say no a lot of the time if my conditions as an agency, so for example, when I'm selling booth staff, I have certain conditions. One is I need to have enough notice, okay? 2 is that they can actually afford it. And number 3 is whether they have the right environment for my people to thrive in, okay? If those conditions don't exist, then I say no, because what I'm doing is I'm saving myself the headache of having to deal with the fallout.
Yeah, but that is so clear. And I'm just coming back to the last part. Within an exhibit house, everybody is a salesman. Everybody has a sales role. They don't see it that way, but everybody has a sales role. So they should all understand what is it what customers want. What do customers want at the show? They want, when the show starts, they want enough public. They want to have interaction. They want to register it, and they want to do some follow-up. That's it. And yes, they were all fuzzy stories. I get it, but 90% want leads, talk to existing customers, show something new, and that's it. If that's going to change, I don't know. Within my career, I do not think so. And is it one of the best ways and most efficient ways to do business? Yes, of course. In a short amount of time, you see so many people. You don't have to travel. When you see 5 buyers or 10 buyers in 2 days, that's the alternative to 10 of 10 flights. That's why it's still sustainable.
Yeah.
Because you fly there. Yeah, that's true. But it's instead of flying 10 times. So that calculation can be made.
All right.
I always say, but that's a funny joke. So I say trainings like us are also very sustainable. People say, why do you say that? I said, well, if people are very efficient, they have to do less calling, less flight, because they do the business immediately. But then people start laughing through. And I understand that, of course, because I'm just promoting my own business here.
Of course. Yeah. So what does the future exhibition salesperson look like? What kind of qualities and skills do they need to succeed in this world of AI?
Yeah. Well, just use AI to get better conversations from customers. With customers, use all these devices. I have it, you have it too, the plot. So it's running here, it's recording what we're doing. Do something which we've learned a lot, real customer orientation, but not just by word, but by doing it. Get the customer, give them the feeling that he's taking care of my business.
Yeah.
And my business is not the booth.
Yeah.
We're not selling the booth. They get a bill for the booth.
Yeah.
But we're not selling the booth. We're selling future business, transfer of ideas, whatever. And that's when that success comes. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter what it costs, but then cost is less important. You have to have that holistic view on that. You have to be a trusted advisor instead of a salesperson.
So you have to be the exhibition doctor. So you have to listen, I would say.
I tell you one thing. I was in the Netherlands 10 years ago. We were at a local show, and we had this. When there was a disaster, you have these emergency tents for the Red Cross. We had that first help for exhibitions, and people just could go in, and there were sitting some experts. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And it works, and that works.
And it works because then people say, "Well, you can say anything. There's no project pressure." Fantastic concept for the next IFES pavilion at one of the because within our community we have all the answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have all the answers.
Absolutely, yeah.
From lighting to ceilings to flooring to a magnificent building to reusable systems, etc., etc. With better stands, we have sustainability. We tick all the boxes.
Yeah,
a few bold, crazy trainers, people. I mean, it's all. My question would be, Lee, what do you think? Which role could or should IFES play? Well, actually, maybe in the comments, people could say that. Do you see a role for us? I mean, we're both in the education committee, and we do our 1.5 to 2 day things. That's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
And we have our content, but these are longer processes. Do we need an academy? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because then you are interesting. Oh, I'm with my colleague in the same class. Am I going to share? Sorry for being cynical here. There are no world secrets. The world gets better when everybody is a better salesman, a better advisor. The world gets better. But some say, "Oh my God, no, I'm not going to share my challenges with my neighbor," which is short-sighted, I would say. But it still happens.
Because in the industry, I mean, we all have the same challenges. I have regular roundtables with, fellow business owners, outside of the industry, because that gives me a wider perspective. So I think, if you're listening or watching this podcast and you want to get some, more advice from IFES, how can we actually help you? Okay, what do you actually need from Han, from myself?
That's an open question, and then we can build upon that.
Let us know. Yeah, absolutely. So, some quick fire questions before we finish, Han, for you. What do you think is the biggest mistake exhibit builders make in sales? If you had to pinpoint one big mistake that you see out there.
Well, we'll go into project details and architecture immediately.
All right, okay, great. And one question that every salesperson should ask a prospect.
When you come on the booth for the first day, and you see the booth, what kind of feeling do you want to have?
Great, fantastic. I love that. The worst reason to discount?
When the other party is giving discounts, or when they just ask.
Yeah. Okay. Great. What's the easiest way to differentiate without spending any money on marketing collateral, anything like that? How would you differentiate yourself?
Come again. What's the easiest way to?
What would be the easiest way to differentiate yourself from another supplier?
Yeah. Well, explicitly say. We deliver a booth, but we're not selling them.
Right, okay.
Sort of intriguing. What is this guy saying?
Okay.
This intrigueness should be like, oh gosh, we're going to talk to these guys.
Yeah. All right. One thing that contractors should stop putting in their proposals.
What do you mean? The guys who send out the RFP?
Yeah, the exhibit sellers, our IFES members.
When they were founded, all this heritage. I mean, it's important.
Founded in
Yeah, founded in
1900.
1773.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's important that you're here to stay, but sometimes there's a lot of emphasis, and we have this kind of facilities, and we all the things which start with we or us or I.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So on the contrary, then one thing that they should start putting in proposals.
Aim for their very simple. Aim for their goals.
Yeah.
And do not continue when you don't have a clear goal.
Yeah.
Don't do anything if you don't have a clear goal. Don't start, because it's a waste.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. And lastly, finish this sentence for me. The future of exhibition sales belongs to companies that
really understand of being client oriented.
Great. Fantastic. So, do you have a closing message for our listeners out there when it comes to sales?
Get the hell out of there and sell. Have you ever seen that clip? Maybe we should put it in the comments underneath. There is this video from the Muppet Show, and the guy starts, Kermit the Frog starts, I'm saying the kicker, that's a Dutch word. He starts doing a speech, and then he gets more wild and wild, and he ends with sell, you gotta sell.
Fantastic. All right. So, Han, it was a pleasure to talk to you. We should do this more often.
We will.
Yeah. And for me, I mean, the closing message is that, the future of exhibition sales is not about becoming better at selling stands. It's becoming better at understanding what clients are trying to achieve, bringing expertise to the table, and demonstrating how you can actually create value that competitors cannot easily copy. Do you agree, Han?
I fully agree, my man.
Brilliant. So I will see you at the next masterclass, no doubt. And no doubt,
Poland it is.
Poland it is in Warsaw. Everyone, thank you very much for listening to episode 2 of the IFES Beyond the Booth podcast. And we will see you soon with episode 3. Han.
Poznan. You said
Poznan.
Warsaw. Or did we change location?
So we will see you in Poznan.
Great.
In Poland in November. But thank you for listening, and we would love to have your comments and let us know what else you would like to see on the podcast. And until the next episode, it's been Ali and Han Leenhouts. Over and out. See you next time.